Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 20th of July. So, as the months fly past, let's have a look what we've got coming out today in the way of news. It's not a great deal by the looks of things. Sorry, let me just get the filters on properly here. There we go. I'd filtered out everything but the pound just looking at what's going on. Okay, so well, we've had them. The Australian Monetary Policy Meeting minutes, and that's it today. So really, looking ahead in the week a little bit, we've got retail sales in Australia again tomorrow, and really it's Thursday and Friday. And Thursday we've got the ECB, and they're obviously doing their best not to increase rates for a while. And then Friday we move into the flash manufacturing and services figures, so they are key numbers that are coming out Friday. So really I'm sort of putting those up there because the ECB meeting may slow things down a little bit. We'll have to wait and see how that develops, but yeah, there we go. There is some news out there. Of course there's other things that are being looked at. In fact, I pulled the US Treasuries off here, but these yields are going back to sort of, I'm going back 6 months, or I mean, it was right back. It's sort of March, March, February, March time when we saw figures quite as low as this. And with the potential of interest rates being increased, you just would not expect it. But there we go. The short squeeze happened on the bond market, and I think it's going to be an awful adjustment at some stage there, but we'll see. Anyway, looking at I was going to start with currencies because I've got a currency on here. Sorry if you want to look at the indices, but I won't be long. Currency-wise, then the euro just pedaling down a little bit at the moment. It looked all pretty much down yesterday, and it went all pretty much down until we saw this covering. It looked like the covering sort of position that came through there, and then sold off again since. Weird price action. This was being put down to unwinding of carry trades that are going against because obviously with the low interest rates on the euro, it becomes a useful tool for, or negative interest rates, it becomes a good tool for the carry trade. But there appeared to be a bit of an unwinding yesterday, according to some sources. Now, whether that's actually happened or whatever, we'll see. But for now, however we look at this, the euro is sliding down south still, lower highs, lower lows. It's a case of can you get aboard on a lot of these things, and well, it may just give a retracement to get back. It's already through. I mean, it's consolidated, broken out through the Asian session there. Again, in the midst of nowhere, and they're difficult. I talked about it yesterday, and it did actually break down quite firmly in the end at 8 o'clock, and it made a clear run for it. Well, we're running down at the moment. Retracements may give opportunities to sell on the euro at this stage. I'm still bearish on it. The pound, well, this is also a bearish picture. Now, yesterday when I looked at this, I was suspicious over the price action when I talked about it in the morning. We had this little bar here, graveyard doji bar, and well, that's what it ended up as. It was just popping up and pulled back a little bit. It was around the prior lows there. Very suspicious of it. I didn't manage to get into this short, but it went straight away almost. Come 8 o'clock off it toodled, and there we are. 8 o'clock it sold straight off, but it did give back some opportunities to get into it at later stages there in the mid-morning. And I think this is another one of these markets at the moment. It's sliding down. There's a lot going on, which isn't necessarily positive pound at this stage, and well, the pound's getting hammered, and this is as with the euro, it's opportunities to trade the opposite way. When we get these retracements that you see, like yesterday, it's a case of just looking in for the opportunities that come. When that happens, if you want to get a bit of reaction, otherwise you just got to sit there. Dollar yen, well, this again, Consolidation is great when it's in the right places. You get a move down like here, some consolidation, and it's sort of at the bottom of its move. Here it sits here in the middle, and it makes it for difficult reading in terms of where's this going to go next. And well, it's a throw of a coin almost. It could go either way. Now at the moment, looking at it, maybe because of the green bars, it looks like it's going to err to the upside. It's found resistance overnight into its daily pivot, but we'll see how that progresses. As I said, for me, it's just too difficult to try and trade. Aussie dollar continued to sell off yesterday, and well, again, it's one of those that if you're not in it, you just got to wait for retracements, be patient. You could jump aboard sometimes in terms of breakdowns if there's an area of breakdown, but there's so much risk in doing so. You're better off just waiting. Now yesterday, yesterday, it's this morning rather, it's done it too early for us, and the minutes obviously came out. 3 o'clock was the time it went in there. You can set, I mean, look, if you really, I mean, I think this is too risky overnight, but during the daytime you can set sell orders, sell limits, whatever. You can pop them in there and pop them, or sell stops actually, and see what you can get out of some of these things if you're not going to be sitting around to watch them. But a regular peep is much better. Canadian dollar, another one that's just been pushing up yesterday, massive move up. As I said, there's no point in me trying to understand this move too much, but obviously with crude being oil being sold off, etc., it does help the situation, and we've just seen a continuation of this sort of sell. Just shot up yesterday, consolidated for most of the day. A break of that trend line might have given opportunities. So there's the proper consolidated trend line, but again, this is run through 4 o'clock in the morning, so they're difficult to try and jump on, and it makes summer trading quite difficult at times. Just patience. I will just look at the euro yen. I'm short on the euro yen. It triggered a trade yesterday for me on my auto trader actually, and the little setup came along. Actually got 2 positions in there, one sitting at break even and still rolling, and the other one is still sitting, is not long in terms of price action, but we've just sort of got into this consolidation phase. But it is a consolidated phase at around some lows, and that may just continue to push off south. I'm not looking for massive targets on these, but I'd be quite happy at coming down towards its daily S1. But at the moment, it's just finding this sort of support area. Not that it will make any difference to my trading. My trading's all fully automated on this particular setup. Around 129 is where it's finding its the support at the moment. A break of that is quite a nice trade in terms of that area, because again it's a consolidation but around some lows here, so that might actually give some potential there. But my trade came much earlier yesterday off a signal that was set up there. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's have a look then across. I'm going to do commodities because it's easy for me to do so on here, and then we'll switch across and have a look at the indices. Gold, let's just come back to the dailies here. Yesterday it was a real game of 2 halves here. I mean, it sold off, and it really was going when I looked at it in the morning, but it did manage quite a solid bounce back, and maybe with a risk off situation that we're seeing, gold may be seen as a safety area. But when the dollar's being bought strongly, generally we see gold being sold, so it's a real conflict of action here. It has had had a good recovery yesterday afternoon there, and again unwinding of some of the positions that were sort of sitting in the market potentially, and it did well out of that. But it's changed. It was lower highs, lower lows, and it has put this higher low in there at the moment. But this could be just a corrective move in a downward trend, or new downward trend. But I'm not particularly bullish on that. Oil, the bearish side really took for it yesterday. It's come out to the dailies here, and we saw it. It just said it looked a bit soft, but crikey, did it go. And it broke down really quickly. It started off at 8 o'clock and really solid sort of move down. Then boom, it come midday, pushed on further. So real sell-off yesterday. Not a lot I can do with this at the moment. It'd be quite nice if it meandered its way just into that daily pivot, draw the trend line across the lows there, and wait for the break. It is in a downward price action at the moment, and that later on could give a bit more downside. Now there's all sorts of people calling for it to run up to 80s, 90s, $100. I do get suspicious when so many shout for it, when we know that there's so much potential production availability out there, which some countries which are going to be desperate for dollars and pound currency, rather than just seeing a high price. It's a bit of a they need the money in. So at some stage, I think that perhaps things are going to be wrong unless these OPEC Plus members can hold their own. Right, that's enough of that. Let's have a look at the indices, and just bring the I'm going to bring my indices charts across here. So looking at what's happened in the Asian markets there, well, bit of an odd old event here, because obviously it gapped down, but managed a more positive end. FTSE's just opened. That's catching a bit of a rally at the moment, and the DAX. These are slightly delayed, he said, so this might 20th. Yep, it's okay. It's a rolling. So yep, and that also at the moment is finding a bit of a bounce. I'm just a bit suspicious. I do wonder if there'll be a bigger correction here overall. S&Ps. I may look at my own charts for this actually, but it's certainly had a solid rollover yesterday, but finding a bit of a bounce at the moment. The Nasdaq there also, again, solid sell-off here, but solid sell-off. But all of these moves, well, all these moves on the US markets are pretty strong. They're still in a strong upward trend market, so you've got to be very wary that they could turn quite quickly. Dow Jones again. There's sort of some key lines probably in the sand on the Dow Jones, maybe right away back to 133. This sort of 133, 3300 or 1000. Right, beg your pardon. Right away down here is the sort of key point of potential. Well, things are getting really bad, or badder, worse. So at the moment they can all survive where they're sitting and bounce back up quite quickly. Okay, that's that. Just finally looking at the cryptos, and these have had a hard old day, hard old time, and we're seeing them as we go to print it here. It's challenging this. We're not too far off of challenging the overall lows for this year at the moment with Bitcoin, Ethereum just following south, Ripple just following. So these are all following that downward trajectory even, and I can't see anything positive about them at the moment. They do. If you're looking for, these are going to bounce from here, well, there's a potential that we could get a bit of support off these prior lows here, and I'm sure there'll be buyers looking at these levels and thinking, well, let's do it. It's done it before, but I don't know. It's just like the pebble on the pond there. You're sort of skimming along, and all of a sudden it just runs out of momentum and pops through. It just, to me, looks like it's got more downside. Now, of course, it may catch things, but with the stronger dollar, and remember these are dollar versions, dollar-backed versions of these. They all look weak. Sorry about that if you're bullish and want to see them pushing up, but that's how they look. Okay, that's pretty much it from me this morning. I am going to be back in the morning. I wish you a great day. Bye for now.